Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Golf Town Virtual Golf Clinic hosted by me, Lisa Blueswick, nicknamed Lisa Longball. Well, as you can see, I'm sporting green again today. Of course, this was supposed to be the official Masters week, and today would have been day one of the tournament. So I had to support green and sport green because this is my very favorite tournament of the year, and hopefully it will still be a go November 9th to 15th. Well, today's lesson, we are going to be talking about alignment, target, and pre-shot routine. These are so important. If you have someone in your life, a playing partner that struggles with alignment, target, pre-shot routine, make sure you can tag them in the comments. You can share this with them because we want everyone to get better as soon as we start this golf season out there. So this is going to be a fantastic lesson for anyone who struggles with alignment and target and pre-shot routine. So I want to go back to what we talked about in our last swing lesson. Of course, we did golf fitness on Tuesday, but on Saturday, we talked about the importance of brushing the grass. One of the things we did not discuss is we talked about how to do it, but heck, this is something you can be doing right now from home. I know it snowed in Alberta and Saskatchewan in the last couple days here, but as soon as that snow melts, we can be getting outside. So in your backyard or maybe a park across the street, as long as you're social distancing, I want you to get out there and work on everything we've been doing so far. You don't even need a golf ball, of course. What I want you to do is work on the warm-up, grip, posture, and of course, ball position and brushing the grass. So when you get out there, you can work on your golf swing right now by working on all those things and then making sure that when you make your swing, you brush the grass. And by being outside and brushing the grass right now, even without a ball, it will start to create muscle memory for you. So make sure you get out there and brush the grass as soon as you have grass to brush. So again, that really important tip there. All right, we're going to get started, but just before we do, I want to say hello to Valerie. She's from the Okanagan, and Suzanne, and Tom from Mississauga. So thrilled that you're here all watching and learning today. Well, one of the things that I always giggle at when I go to the driving range, and I'm watching people, and this is what they look like. They get out to the range, and they're at the range, and they're doing this. They're making their swings, they're getting out there, and before their ball's even landed, they're scraping another ball from the tray, and doing another swing, scrape and swing. And I'll say to them, hey, where's your target? And they'll look at me like I have three heads and say, middle of the range, Lisa, middle of the range. Well, here's the problem. When your target is middle of the range, that could be 20 yards wide. That is not a good target. When you're picking a target, you want to pick something very specific. I want you to remember the phrase, aim small, miss small. Super important in picking a target. We're going to do a shout out. I see Kelly out there watching, and Karen, Jan, Peggy. Carrie, thanks everyone for joining us today. So again, when you're picking that target, aim small, miss small. So we have to pick something very specific. So when you are picking a target, rule number one, you have to make sure that you're picking your target from behind the golf ball. So when you're picking your target, you've got to make sure you're back here. I see so many golfers getting ready. They have their ball set up right here, and I see them kind of eyeballing their target. They might even put their club across their hips and do a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Oh yeah, all set. I've even seen people do this and get all set up. Holy cow, if you're doing that, stop. That's the opposite way to how you should be doing this, because that is not what's going to be important, is getting the hips and the shoulders lined up. We're going to talk about what's important. So step number one, you want to pick your target from behind the ball, never from beside the ball. Step number two, you want to pick a very specific target. Now this is easy at a driving range because usually driving ranges have yardage markers, maybe 50 yards, 75, 100, 150, so on and so forth. But when you're on a golf hole, like a par 4 or a wide open par 5, what do you aim at? Now what I want you to aim at is something in the distance. So for instance, maybe you're going to be aiming at a tree. Now obviously that tree maybe is 250 yards down the fairway. You're not going to hit that with your iron, but that's the line you want your ball to travel on. So again, I want you to aim for a specific branch on the tree, not the whole tree, a branch on the tree. Or pick a house that's behind the green. Again, you're not going to hit the house, but I want you to pick a chimney on the house, a window on the house, or maybe if it's a sand trap on the edge of the fairway, again, you know your iron's not going to get there, or whatever club you're using, maybe it's the corner and the edge of the sand trap. So pick a very specific target when you're picking. Now I'm going to teach you a drill right now that's really going to help you be focused on your target. So what I want you to do, I want you to be standing up. You have to be standing up wherever you are, in your living room, in your kitchen, in your basement. I want you to pick something as far as you can from across your room. Then I want you to stretch your arms out. No T-Rex arms, no alligator arms. I want you to stretch your arms out, and what you're going to do is you're going to put your thumbs together and you're going to put your index fingers together to make a triangle. I want you to pick pick an object somewhere across your room. Maybe it's a pot light. Maybe it's the corner of a picture. Maybe it's a statue you have in your room. Something on the other side of the room. Arms stretch out, thumbs together, index fingers together. I want you to center that object in the middle of your triangle with both eyes open. Now, I want you to close your left eye, open it, close your right eye, open it. And on one of them, you will see that the target stays in the middle of your triangle. And on the other eye, when it's open, that target will have shifted probably almost right out of your triangle. So I want you to think about that. That is a dominant eye drill. We each have a dominant eye. And what happens is when we pick our target with only our dominant eye, we have a better chance of being laser precise. Now, people in professions that use the dominant eye, people that work with guns or photography, so police officers, what they do is when they often pick their target, when they're shooting or taking their picture, they're going to pick their target with their dominant eye only. So I want you to do the same thing in golf. You saw how much that shifted. That could be part of the reason why your alignment is so poor. So I want you to only pick your target with your dominant eye. So step number 1, I want you to stand behind your ball. Step number 2, pick a very specific target. Chimney on the house, window on the house, edge of a sand trap, branch of a tree, specific branch of a tree. Step number 3, have only your dominant eye open when you pick your target. Now, you're going to be standing directly behind your golf ball. I'll throw a golf ball down there just so we have a sense of that. You're going to be standing directly behind your golf ball. I want you to have your dominant eye open. Now, I want you to hold your club at about waist height. And what you're going to do is you're going to point your club at your target. So the chimney on the house, the branch on the tree, the edge of the sand trap, whatever your specific target is. If you were to look down your shaft, it would actually split your ball in half. It would split your ball in half. Now, I don't want you holding it up by your chest or way down here at about waist height. Now what I want you to look for is I want you to look for an intermediate target. What is an intermediate target? It is something 1 foot to maybe up to 2 feet in front of your golf ball that is in the exact same line of your ball and your intended target. Why do we have an intermediate target? Well, Jack Nicklaus was a huge fan of the intermediate target. Why? Because the most important thing when you're picking a target is lining up your club face. This is king and queen. This is the most important thing we need to line up. We need to get our club face lined up to our target. Well, it is a heck of a lot easier to line your club face up to something that is 1 foot to 2 feet away versus something that's 100 yards away, 150 yards away, 250 yards away. So that's where the intermediate target is super, super important. I just want to do a shout out. I see Doy here joining us from Winnipeg and Stan from Quebec. Welcome, welcome. Bonjour. And also from Todd, who's joined us and tagged some friends. So that's fantastic. So, as I mentioned, what is so important is to get this club face set up. Now, club manufacturers are helping us out with that. Check this out. All right. Check this out. On the, I'll go back to this club, sorry. On this club, so most ladies clubs, almost all ladies clubs and junior clubs. This club is actually a club that is my son's club, so I borrowed my son's club today. He's a teenager and he has a teen set. And we're going to talk about equipment later, but it is so important that you are using the right equipment. Ladies clubs are too heavy for my son, and so and he's too big for a junior set, so there's not a lot of manufacturers. So this is a Callaway teen set, which is awesome, and I think there's a few more out there on the market that you can check out, but if you have that in between a teen, make sure you have the right equipment. But as you can see on the bottom, here we go, there we go, on the bottom, 2 grooves of his golf club, and again, for most ladies' golf clubs as well, and some men's, you will see that the bottom groove, or maybe even 2 grooves, are painted white. And you might never even have noticed that before. You might have thought it was just decoration. It's not. It's an alignment tool. This is to help you line your club face up to your target. So again, that's a little extra advantage that you have on your clubs. But guess what? You can't see those grooves if they're filled with dirt and mud and rocks. So you gotta wash your clubs. Make sure that every single one of you should have a towel on your golf bag. Every one of you should have a towel on your golf bag that you wet before your round. And you give, once you use your club, give it a little rub, because it's the grooves that make the ball spin and what makes it work. So we got to have clean grooves, and again, also to see those alignment tools. Another club, this is my newest club actually that I just got, are my Callaway Maverick Pro. Check this out. This is brand new. I'm trying to show you. There it is. You can see that white line right there. So this is on a men's set of irons, and this is just the top groove is painted white, and that's exactly what it's for. It's to help me line up to my target, and then having that intermediate target, it's so much easier to line that up, again, to something that's 1 foot or 2 feet away. So super, super important. So again, the process, as we showed there, the process. Oh, my ball ran away. Just a sec. Okay, whew. Got my ball back. So again, the process is, step number 1, we've got to be behind our golf ball. Always pick our target from behind our golf ball, never from beside. Step number 2, pick our specific target. Step number 3, have our dominant eye open only, all right, that we're looking at that. Step number 4, we hold our shaft of our golf club in line with our target as we stand right behind our ball. As we look down our shaft, it's going to split our golf ball in half, all right? Now we're looking for an intermediate target, something 1 foot to 2 feet in front of the golf ball. And that could be a weird looking piece of grass, an old divot, a broken tee, something though that's in that same line as your target. And that's what we want to line our face up with. We want to line our face up with that intermediate target. Once you line your face up with that intermediate target, then you set your feet up. And people will say to me all the time, well, Lisa, how do you know that you're going to set your feet up properly? I guarantee once you have that intermediate target, you line your club face up nice and square means straight, not closed, not open, but square, straight. I guarantee you're not going to do this with your feet. Okay? You're just going to move your front foot forward, back foot back. Okay? Front foot forward, back foot back. And again, using our ball position that I taught you in our second class. So again, that is our process for aligning properly. Now, something that has really bothered me, and I've seen it all the time, it's happened to me as well, is when you get that, remember we have the people on the golf course giving us tips, and I told you we need to shut that down? This is what I often see. So I've been set up before, and I've seen it happen to other golfers, that they're all set up, ready to hit their ball, and my husband's done it to me and said, Lisa, wait. I'm like, what? And he'll take his golf club, and he'll throw it down on my feet, and he'll say to me, look where your feet are aimed. Look where your feet are aimed. That's nowhere close to the target. So then if you would stand back and look, and you'd be like, oh, right, my feet aren't aimed at the target. Well, if you are doing this, I guarantee you will not hit your target because it is not your feet that should be aimed at the target. If your feet were aimed at your chimney, the edge of the sand trap, the window, the problem is this. Look at this. As I set up to my golf ball, right here, this is the line, and I'll use actually orange alignment rods so you can see it. This is the line that my ball will travel on. That's the line that my ball will travel on. So again, that's the line there. So if you line your feet up to the exact target, this is almost a half a fairway that your ball will end up away from your target because you want your ball to travel on the club face line, not your foot line. So yes, your target line should be parallel to your club face line, but it is not your foot line should not be at your target. Your club face needs to be at the target, and your foot line would be parallel to that. Your foot line would be parallel, and I'll throw this orange alignment rod to show you. This is where your foot line would be, and then this is where your target would be. So do not line your feet up to the target. It's got to be club face. Super, super important. Now, if you go through that whole routine, if you don't hit the target, because you will either be at your target, left of your target, or right of your target, well, now we know there's something wrong. Why are we slicing it? Why are we pulling it? And I'm going to be talking about those in some upcoming classes. But if at least we set it up properly, we know we've aligned properly, and then we know the swing fault is somewhere else. I'm just going to do a shout out. I see Sheila out there today, Linda, Kim. So, oh, you love my Masters green outfit. Thank you so much. And Susan, I really love that you're out there having fun. And yeah, we got to call out the fairway coaches. We don't need those anymore, right? Well, by doing a pre-shot routine, the other thing, the important thing, by doing all of this, it actually is called a pre-shot routine. Why do we do a pre-shot routine? We do a pre-shot routine for this reason, to create consistency. Now, for those of you that struggle with consistency, you need to make sure you have a pre-shot routine. Watch any LPGA or PGA Tour player. They do the exact same thing every single time they hit a ball. Why? Because it creates consistency, and it also creates proper habits that you're doing the right thing. So here's, for those of you that struggle with first tee jitters, if you get really nervous on the first tee and everyone's watching and there's another group there and you're really nervous, by going through this pre-shot routine, you start to focus so much on, okay, my target, I need to find my intermediate target, line that up, line my club face up. You're so concerned about your own ball and your own routine, you're not worried about the group that's watching. So having a pre-shot routine really helps those who struggle with first tee jitters. And again, it creates consistency. Well, not only do we want a pre-shot routine when we're hitting a full swing club, we want a pre-shot routine with everything we do. And putting is a huge part of having that pre-shot routine. So in a putting pre-shot routine, and we'll just pick up some of our stuff here, move it out of the way. All right. In putting, the pre-shot routine is super important. Now, we're going to be talking about putting this Saturday and tips to stop you from three-putting and some great tips to help you become a putting machine. But the important thing is, when you do putting, it's also important to have that pre-shot routine, because you will use this club more than any other club in your entire bag. So that's super important. So pre-shot routine with putting. Now, in a pre-shot routine with putting, first of all, you always need to read the green. Now, a lot of people read the green from behind the ball. They stand behind their ball. That's great. I see some people trying to read the green from beside the ball. Terrible. Always read the green from behind the ball. And don't just read it from up tall. When you're reading your green in your pre-shot routine, try to tuck down low. You'll see some more undulations in the green that way. And we'll talk more about that on next class when we talk about putting. But you're always picking your target from behind your golf ball and getting low. Now, I had the opportunity to meet Dave Stockton. Dave Stockton is absolutely unbelievable. He's a putting guru, played on the PGA Tour, unbelievable, Ryder Cups. And we had a chance to chat putting. And when we were going through putting, he asked to see my putting routine. So when I was doing my putting routine, I came up to show my putting routine. I went through my whole putting routine, and then I came beside my ball and I started to make some strokes. And he said, Lisa, he said, why are you making a putting stroke on a line that you won't actually be rolling your ball? And it was like this mind-blowing moment for me that I thought, you know what? What a good point. So when Dave Stockton talks about a pre-shot routine, this is what he talks about. Number one, he said, always pick your target from, or pick your angle and pick your green reading from behind the ball. Or he said, if it's not a flat putt and there's a low side of the putt, he said, go to the low side. He is not a proponent of looking all around the hole, and he thinks that can be confusing and show you many different angles. So he said, if it's a flat putt, look right behind, but if there happens to be a low side, you can go to the low side and read the green from there. Only those two places, in his opinion. And then once you've done that, he said, what you want to do is you want to stand behind your ball and you want to pick your target. Now, when I say pick your target, that's going to be the high point, the point where you think the putt is going to break. So when you pick that, it's wonderful to have an intermediate target. It is, especially if you have a long putt. If you have a long putt, you want to pick something, a foot in front of your ball to line up your putter face with. It is so important. And again, most putters come with these wonderful alignment lines and maybe two balls and lots of different alignment aids to get this putter face square to where you want it to go. That is so important. We need this putter face square. So if you have that intermediate target to set that up to, that's wonderful. So in Dave Stockton's pre-shot routine, this is what he talks about. He talks about coming behind your ball, picking your target. Once you've picked your target, that you can, he comes up and he comes behind it. He sets his right foot up. He said he'll sometimes swing his back arm as he's looking down the line to get into that sense. He sets up in his posture. He said he starts with his club face pointed right at the target line. Then he moves it to behind the ball, takes one last look at his putt, and makes a stroke. So that is fantastic. I love that idea. So if you don't have a pre-shot routine in putting, you need to get one. I guarantee it will shave strokes off your game by having that. Now, one of the things that I like to make an actual stroke when I'm putting. So I said to Dave, what do I do? Because I really like to make a stroke. So he said, Lisa, instead of making your putting stroke beside your ball, instead of making it beside your ball on a line that you don't even intend on putting on, he said, go behind your ball, look down your line, and as you're looking down your line, make your putting stroke from behind your ball, because then you're at least looking down the same line you're going to putt on. And it absolutely, again, amazed me. Now, if you're someone who struggles with alignment, I've got one more tip for you as well. I'm just going to say hello to Wanda and Doy, Helen, thrilled that you like that tip. And Kathy, oh, you came to one of my Golf Town store appearances. That's fantastic. And Dar, Michelle, good morning, good morning. So this last tip is really going to help you with alignment as well. For those of you that really struggle with your alignment, here's something that you can do. You might not even have ever noticed this, but every single golf ball has typically a line on the ball, and some of them even have arrows at the top and at the bottom. All the manufacturers do this. And why do they do this? Because this is an extra alignment tool. So for those of you that really struggle with alignment, this can be helpful. But sometimes this isn't dark enough. So what I actually do, I like to take a Sharpie, because all of us should have a Sharpie in our bag so that we can mark our balls. And I'm just going to freehand this, and I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination. But what I do is I take my Sharpie and I draw my line over the line that's already existing there. And then as you can see, it makes it so much more bold and easy to see. Now, if you don't like the freehand, at Golf Town, you can buy, there's something called Line 'em Up. It's a little plastic cap that you can put on your golf ball, and it helps you draw a perfectly straight line. So I think that retails for $12.99 with a Sharpie and a ball marker as well. So that's a great purchase if you would like this. But what I use this for, I use it for two purposes. First of all, I like to use it for my putting pre-shot routine. So again, I get set up with my ball here. Now, of course, we can never move our ball. We can never move our ball without having a marker. So make sure that you have a marker if you ever plan to move your ball. All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to place your marker behind your golf ball. And then you're going to take that dark line that you've drawn, or the line on the ball, and you're going to line it up to that high point, that point where you feel that the ball is going to break. You're going to tuck back, double check, tuck down quick, double check that it's on the right line. If it's not, you can adjust it because your marker's behind the ball. When you're confident, pick up your marker, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take that alignment line that's on your putter, and you're going to line that up with the ball. So now, trust that you've picked the right line. You're going to line that up behind the ball. And then as the two lines are going to be matched up, and then you're going to make your stroke. So it's awesome for those people that struggle with alignment. And not only can you use it on the putting surface, guess what? You can use this on the tee. So check this out. This is an awesome tool. Now you can only do it on the tee. You're not allowed by the rules of golf, of course, to do it on the fairway because you can't move your ball on the fairway. So what you can do when it's on the tee though, place it on the tee, and then you can line that line up to your intermediate target. So you put that tee, once the tee's in the ground, get that ball lined up, have the dark line showing. Again, we go through our whole pre-shot routine. We pick our intermediate target with our dominant eye behind. We find something 1 foot to 2 feet in front of the golf ball, and now you adjust that line on the ball to aim at your intermediate target. And again, typically golf clubs also have an alignment mark, as you can see. So you can line your alignment mark up with the black line, which is faced right at your intermediate target, and pull the trigger. I guarantee it'll help you hit more online golf shots, and it's on your ball. You're allowed to use it. So again, great thing to use to help you hit more fairways and be more consistent. So I hope these tips have helped you. I'd love to give a shout out to Martin. So glad that you're out here watching. Lisa, Cheryl, Sandra, and Daniel, thanks so much for joining us. So hopefully these tips were helpful. Share the video with people that you think might enjoy it. Our next class, which is on this Saturday, Masters Saturday, will be all about putting. So we're going to talk about putting. I have a new way that was taught to me that absolutely changed my putting, that helped me almost eliminate totally 3 putts. So I think you're going to love it. So you don't want to miss Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. Again, you feel free to go back and watch any of the videos. Hope you have a great day. Thanks very much. And it's Lisa Longball signing out.